Good morning, soil brothers and soil sisters. Guys, this morning, I'm gonna start off by making me some fuel for my lawnmower. So I poured some of this amazing fuel into the machine. All right, fam. So, while working in the garden, I saw something that I thought might be interesting for y'all to see. All right, most of y'all know this, but some of y'all don't, and I figure I'd bring y'all along so y'all can actually, see this also. As y'all know, probably about 3 weeks ago, I started putting down my fall starts, so my brassicas, and came out today, and there was a noticeable difference in things. So I decided I was going to just, hey, let me show you all this difference and why it is so. All right, so since I put down my starts, the temperatures have dropped drastically. It went from being 70, 80s in the mornings to 50s in the morning, and this in a 3 weeks period. And since them temperatures started cooling off, some of the plants that didn't fruit during the summer are now trying to flower and fruit. While it's starting to get a little too cold for them, they actually see that sign of relief and they're starting to push a little bit. But, I'm not expecting to get much of a harvest or any, depending on what Mother Nature decides to do. So take these tomato plants, look at this little tomato plant. It is now starting to want to do, they haven't done anything this summer. Starting to get flowers here. This tomato plant, it has grown during the summer, but it would not flower or fruit. And now it is doing this thing, abundance of tomatoes growing. And when I say we didn't get no tomatoes this summer, I mean we got none. And now it's trying to put some on. I don't know if it's gonna get too cold to where they're not gonna get ripe, but they're all in here. There's dozens of tomatoes growing. This is the beds that I actually put my broccoli in. I put a ton of starch in both of these beds. And what amazed me that I actually wanted y'all to see is the fact that I purchased some amazing potting soil that had fertilizer in it, and I also put some bone and blood meal down on these plants. And this is what they look like. Alright, not bad if you don't have anything to compare them to. But as y'all can remember, I did put some of my broccoli in my other bed, the bed that I actually built the soil. And it took me probably about 3 years. I built that soil over about the last 3 years. And we're gonna see the difference in this potting soil and the soil that I built. Now, keep in mind that these broccoli starts are the same broccoli starts that I got in that bed. Put them down the same day, and they get the same amount of sun and the same amount of water. All right, fam, so these are the broccolis that I planted on the same day, out the same batch, with the same sunlight and the same water. All right, as you can tell, there's a drastic difference in the growth. So all soil is not created equally, and the 3 years of building this particular soil allows my plants to grow a lot bigger, a lot faster, a lot stronger. So when you go and get potting soil, wow, that might be what you can get and the best thing for you at the time. It don't outdo you taking the time to build your own soil. So composting and taking your time to put the necessary things in your garden can give you way better results. I'm expecting these to flower and give us heads of broccoli at least 3 weeks earlier than the ones in the bed. You know, I'm just assuming, but they're almost twice the size. And when I saw them, I thought that was amazing. I thought that y'all would actually like to see that. Of course, the cabbage and the greens are doing amazing also. They have just taken off. The weather is perfect for them. The ground is perfect for them. They're getting the right amount of water. All I got to do is work on keeping the bugs away. And that's been still a little battle. My little corn, I don't know exactly what they're going to do. But we're still trying them out. They're growing. But I have had some bug issues with them also. So I've been trying to keep an eye on them, but you know how that go. The bell pepper plant is growing, but the peppers are not quite as big as I would like them to be. But I'm not complaining. They still eat. The jalapeno plant is doing pretty well. It is growing, it's producing pretty good, no complaints there. Them bad boys are ready to be eaten. Cayenne, my wife just picked this tree almost dry, but it is doing well now. And grant you guys, none of this stuff was doing really well during the summer. It was just way too hot for them. And I'm talking all my tropical plants and all was having issues. All right, fam. So this is one of our pineapple guava. And guys, we thought that we weren't gonna get no fruit this year, but to our surprise, as we look closer, we noticed that there are ripe fruit on this plant.
Let me bring them in closer.
Fell to the ground, and that's when we noticed that there were other fruit on this tree. So if you look at it, it looks amazingly just like the leaves. So if you're not careful, you will miss these things. So how many of y'all have tried pineapple guava? So we've about to try one right now. Can you spot this pineapple guava on this tree?
Because we didn't.
All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and cut into pineapple guava. So let's taste it. Yes, guys, pineapple guava. If you're not growing it, you better get with it. Guys, this morning, I'm gonna start off by making me some fuel for my lawnmower. So I'm gonna bring y'all along on part of this process, all right? So I got most of it done. It's been probably about 12 days now. Everything looks to be ready, so we're gonna get it going. Let's start off with my fuel. So we're gonna go ahead and start off by fuel starter into our vessel. This is what it looks like in our vessel. All right, guys, so I'm gonna do this on the stove top, so go ahead and put that on the stove. Got that on the stove. Now we're gonna go ahead and knock it down. And she's ready to go. So, fam, I'm not doing a how-to on how to go from A to B on this process because there are way more qualified people to do that than I. But I have done it a few times and been pretty successful. So it's just bringing y'all along with me while I go through this process for me. I noticed that my temperatures needed to be a little bit higher where we live than I heard it's supposed to be. All right, fam. So while we waiting, let me explain to y'all how this system works. All right, this is my vessel. This is my cooling chamber, this is where the coil is, the worm or whatever you want to call it. It actually goes into this little container, which is a lot smaller than what I've seen, but it seems to work. It is ran by these hoses here. One of them is the intake. That's where the cool water goes in, and the other one is where the excess water goes out, the warmer water goes out. So I got this running over to the sink where we have a pump. This pump is pumping water into the vessel where the worm is, and this one is the drain. Alright, so what I do is I freeze some jugs of water, and that's what cools off my water that goes into my container with my worm. Alright, and that causes condensation, which gives me my fuel. And we just started running, so this is the start of my run, which will give me heads, which for fuel will work fine. But people who do not use it for fuel do not consume this portion of your run. All right, fam. So we're at 50 milliliters, probably more like 60, and that should be my heads. So like I said, you can use all of this run for fuel. You definitely don't want to consume any of the heads, so you definitely want to remove them if you plan on using it for some kind of consumption. But you want to check your laws. It's not legal for most places, so use it for fuel. It's fun, and it's a learning experience. That's what I use it for. So guys, my temperature is running at probably 185. And that's typically where it'll start running. If I try to run any lower than that, I won't get nothing going on. So like I said, it could be my elevation. All right, fam. So this is my run. All I got was possibly 2.5 good quarts out of it. And you can see it is crystal clear. And then, I got 1 jar of tails, which I'm sure will burn nicely. So let's see if we can see how clear it is. All right, fam. So I poured some of this amazing fuel into the machine, and it started up just fine. So it works. Yeah. All right, guys. Till the next time. Peace.